they got Little Durk in a hole for basically some BS. And right now we're gonna show the paperwork. They saying that he was caught with a cell phone, and basically that's not true. They trying to keep him in a hole, um, do a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing or whatever, but they trying to make a point because they saying that me and him is privileged and we got so many things going on, and it's a lot of BS.
Lil Durk has been locked into solitary confinement for 23 hours a day for the past 130 days. Now pause. Why? According to reports, a jail guard allegedly caught Durk with an Apple Watch inside his cell, and because of that, they decided to punish him. As reported, on Tuesday, January 6th, the Chicago rapper's legal team officially filed a request for a status hearing regarding Lil Durk being held in a special housing unit without due process, dating back to August 29, 2025. Durk is reportedly confined to an extremely small cell, only big enough to fit a single bed, a toilet, and a sink for 23 hours a day. The filing states he is permitted only one phone call per month. He also has no access to commissary and 0 in-person social visits. He was initially placed in SHU as punishment for allegedly possessing that Apple Watch. However, Durk's attorneys argue that this supposed infraction has still not been reviewed by the Unit Discipline Committee to determine the proper disciplinary action, which normally should happen within 5 working days. Instead, it's now been 30 days. And here's the part that really raises eyebrows. Even inmates from Durk's cell block have reached out to people close to his case about what's going on. And yeah, that's extremely concerning.
Criminal lawyer, and I just learned that the rap artist Lil Durk just had his motion to dismiss his for hire case denied. To be honest, I'm not that surprised. Let me tell you guys something. There's only 2 ways that Lil Durk is rocking out of that federal courtroom on 2 feet. A jury of 12 people says that he is not guilty, or President Trump pardons him. There's no other way that Durk is walking out of that court free. That judge is not going to be dismissing any key evidence. He's not going to be dismissing any motions. He's not going to do anything that significantly helps Lil Durk walk out of that courtroom without having a trial. Now, how and why am I so sure of this? Well, here's the first thing I want to tell you. Most federal judges used to be federal prosecutors, exact prosecutors that are prosecuting Durk. A lot of judges used to stand in that very position. Federal prosecutors can be very biased people, and very rarely, once they put on that black robe and become a judge, do they get rid of those biases, okay? That judge very likely probably thinks that Durk is guilty. He just can't be the one to actually say it.
However, the worst-case scenario just happened for Lil Durk. At his court hearing today, Durk made it clear that he wanted to go straight to trial, no delays. The report stated, Lil Durk's co-defendants D Boogie and Brown Eyes agreed with the government to push the trial back 5 months to May 4th. However, Lil Durk does not agree and wants the trial to begin as originally scheduled on January 7th. Once that statement was made inside the courtroom, the judge then allowed prosecutors to take the stand and give their position. Prosecutors walked up and, according to reports, made it very clear they were ready. The coverage stated, in Lil Durk's trial, prosecutors say they have several cooperating witnesses prepared to testify that Durk was the true organizer behind all the passings. In other words, their energy was basically, start it whenever, we don't care. We've got the snitches lined up to put Lil Durk away for life. That statement alone caused the courtroom to go into a recess. When court resumed, Durk's legal team folded, and it was announced that the trial would indeed be delayed. It was then confirmed that Lil Durk's murder-for-hire trial has officially been pushed back to the spring. The new trial date for Durk and his 5 co-defendants is now scheduled for May 4th, with a pre-trial conference set for April 13th. And honestly, it feels like Durk's lawyers were caught completely off guard by just how aggressive the prosecutors sounded moments earlier. But that wasn't even the end of it. Reports also noted that people inside the courtroom said Lil Durk looked noticeably thinner and had cut off his dreads. Alongside that, a list of major legal updates followed. The judge denied his motion to dismiss for vagueness, his motion for a bill of particulars was taken under advisement, Both sides were given until Friday to submit additional responses, and the motion to dismiss Count 4 was also taken under advisement. A lawyer outside the courthouse then broke down what the judge denying those motions actually means and why this hearing may have changed everything for Durk moving forward.
This is my last no jumper. Durk already told me I wasn't supposed to come back up here with that last.
Now look what happened to him.
That man got kids. You talking about look what happened to him.
Definitely not happy about him.
I wouldn't be happy if you go to jail, Adam, because I know you got daughter. Break down.
There's multiple people who are no longer there for their kids as a result of that Durk allegedly called in.
Until they put that on black and white, sir. Stop throwing stuff on a black man who's trying to do something right for the community right now.
The feds have already put out a lot of information about this.
You don't have to put it out. You don't have to put it out.
So
this is a major platform.
You're not the boss of me. We talk about rap on here. I think it is well within our jurisdiction to talk about the fact
jurisdiction?
that
What
Lil
type
Durk
of police is
been
this?
alleged to have ordered them.
This?
Free smirk though,
Free
man.
smirk. But also,
It's a
maybe
police. It's a platform. This some police.
just sit down for a little and decide, hey, maybe I'm not anybody else.
We don't have no proof that
Well,
we don't.
With the judge shutting down any real chance of this case being thrown out, it pretty much confirms that Lil Durk is headed straight to trial. And listen, it's not looking good for him at all. And this decision didn't just shake the courtroom, it had creators all over reacting to Durk's trial, saying,
life by basically saying he's guilty of for hire, and the only thing that, like, yes, some of these things look suspect. Why'd you go there? Why are these people going there? Why'd you send this message? But nothing. There's no message that they got that says where Durk says, y'all that Quando yet? Nothing says that.
No, you missing the point. Okay. They got a witness already cooperating on that. Been had one. We just ain't seen what they said. It's 3 years. One of the cooperating.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, fact. That's co-conspirator too.
I don't need too much more than that. One of them is cooperating. Then in the paperwork, you got the conversation. They say they had it in and out. The other 2 was figuring out how they getting paid.
However, Durk's attorney getting that motion for a bill of particulars taken under advisement is a major W. And listen, this could realistically open the door for Durk to be released from jail until his trial starts in May. Let me break it down. Federal prosecutors are alleging there's a cooperating witness, a snitch, who claims he turned over evidence from an iMessage group chat pointing to Durk allegedly ordering hits on O-Block members for not retaliating after King Von. On top of that, prosecutors say they plan to introduce testimony from another witness who claims Durk personally gave those directives. According to the evidence file, it states, defendant Durk Banks feuds with O-Block member Mana Duke over Banks' belief that O-Block members were not properly retaliating for Bennett, also known as King Von. And just to add another wrinkle to all of this, Whack 100 jumped into the conversation as well, reacting publicly and claiming he knows the real story behind the snitches pointing fingers at Lil Durk.
That's what Didi did. He's basically saying all this evidence y'all got against Durk got nothing to do with me. Why you got me charged with Durk? And that doesn't mean he's going against Durk. That just means he wants his case severed. And I'm telling you, if it's severed, it helps Durk. Because one of the main connective tissue to this conspiracy is saying that Durk told Didi to hire. Didi's saying, I ain't get told to hire nobody, and I ain't hiring nobody. What are you talking about? Why would I hire someone? That's his thing.
It was even suggested in the courtroom today that the very witnesses supposedly snitching on Durk might not be what they seem. Allegedly, they've been playing the feds this whole time and aren't actually moving against Durk the way prosecutors expected. According to reports, Lil Durk could potentially be found not guilty after new court documents reveal that the main witness has switched up his story. At first, that same witness claimed there was never any bounty involved. Now, suddenly, he's saying there was one. And sources are saying this might be Durk playing chess with the feds, trying to finesse his way out of the case early through a very calculated move.
Courtroom for the bond hearing for my son, for the least for the 3rd time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor, he wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice. So he listened to all the evidence, and he's gonna give a ruling in the next few days about what his position is for the bond. But we were very pleased at how it turned out. So continue, family, friends, and fans, continue to keep us in your prayers. And we thank you, and inshallah, God willing, this be victorious for us, that we have a good ruling in our favor.
Because of this, it was then announced good news for Chicago rapper Lil Durk. Prosecutors are now saying they want to introduce several pages of new evidence against him. However, that move would automatically delay the trial even further, which suddenly makes a bond release or even house arrest until trial very likely. But listen, just when that door starts to crack open, the feds try a last-minute play. In what looks like a desperate attempt to stop Durk from getting house arrest, prosecutors floated the idea of adding one more charge. It was then announced that federal authorities believe Lil Durk was also connected to the attempted shooting of Quando Rondo back in 2021 at a gas station in Blackshear, Georgia. In the evidence file, it states surveillance footage and witness testimony related to the attempted shooting of Bowman, aka Quando Rondo, in Georgia. And it also references Durk's lyrics saying, "They're on my page like Slide for Vaughn, I know they trolling me." On his podcast, Durk even addressed this, saying, "For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more," implying the narrative keeps shifting. Prosecutors are now trying to connect the release of that song to the exact same week the gas station incident happened. And here's the key part. They're not actually using the lyrics as evidence. They're simply matching the timing of when the song was published to when the shooting occurred. You can decide for yourself if that's enough to justify another charge. In my opinion, it's not. And because of all this, new reports surfaced saying that, according to words from Durk's father, Durk may finally be released on bond, this being his third attempt. His lawyers reportedly put an offer on the table so strong that the courts might not be able to turn it down.